If you continue to resist, we will have to order an investigation. The Grand Sage has already granted you much leniency.
How did things turn out? Traveler? You don't have to get...
Traveler?
Traveler? What the heck are you doing? Wait, they're not reacting. Have they been skipped? Oh, of course! If this is the Sage's plan, they would have... So they're just substitute...
What is this? What happened to the Grand Sage and his entourage? Like I said, they symbolize the goddess of flowers.
Yes. The Greater Lord brought forth new Patisaras in memory of the goddess of flowers. But she ultimately could never truly replicate that
That beautiful shade of purple. Aren't these flowers real Patisaras? Just like the ones from the legend? I didn't even notice.
But didn't you just say all the real flowers went extinct after the goddess of flowers?
Yeah. What's going... huh? You guys are acting weird. Hey!
They disappeared! So Nilu's the host. Purple Patisaras don't exist in the real world anymore. But in Nilu's subconscious, they can appear. It's just like the example Nahida told us. So when you saw the flowers, you instantly... But if we want to end the samsara, we need... How should we make Nilu...
Am I dreaming?
Huh?
So I'm right. Is this Lesser Lord Kusanali
Wrong guess, but you aren't completely wrong either. As far as you know, people in...
Yeah, but have you heard the tale of the first sage? To prevent a calamity, he went on a...
Ooh, sounds familiar. Dunyarzad told us a story like that.
Yep, but in the part you heard, he hadn't become the first sage yet. There's more to his piety and wisdom were acknowledged by the Dendro Archon, and she finally gave her blessing. All kinds of spectacular scenes appeared in front of the first sage, as if all the knowledge in the world was being painted onto a canvas right before him. He was captivated. After who knows how long, he mastered all the knowledge he could comprehend. Afterward, he said to the Dendro Archon, "I miss my parents, my wife, and my children. I've been away from home for far too long. They must be worried." The Dendro Archon smiled. The next second, the sage found himself lying in his bed, as if his wife lying next to him said, "You're off to search for the Dendro Archon today, aren't you? Have a safe journey, my love." In the end, the first sage took care of many disasters in Sumeru City and founded the Academia.
So, the first sage was dreaming ever since the beginning of the story?
Yes, but his faith and determination were conveyed to the Dendro Archon.
Paimon understands where you're coming from now. That's a really interesting connection. But we really got...
I see. Well, it just so happens that today's Sabzeruz festival is almost over too. Since we're in a dream, let's make this final dance of Sabzeruz as beautiful as we can. The wait is over, everyone. I dedicate this to our god, the dance of Sabzeruz.
I'd be lying if I said I had no regrets. I would have loved to see Nilou's dance.
Good morning, traveler. Oh, Paimon feels like she's been asleep. Paimon's head feels super heavy. Trio Paimon thinks it was after the Sabzeruz festival. The Sabzeruz festival! Have we finally escaped from the Sabzeruz? Quick! Take off your Akasha terminal! She's not in her room. What happened? Huh? Well done, traveler and Paimon. And thank you, Dunyarzad, for organizing this
I'm sorry, who are...
Dunyarzad! You're okay!
Oh, a traveler, Paimon. I have something... I just had a dream. And I saw Neil...
You're actually Nahida, aren't you? Paimon felt like Catherine was acting weird when we... And... Dunyarzad. It's a really long story. We shouldn't disturb her. Her consciousness is still weakened. Let's chat somewhere else. How about by the traveler's favorite bench? Let's talk about Dunyarzad first. It's such a relief that she's all right. After we parted on the last day of the Sabzeruz festival, I left the city. Among the countless dreams, I found one that was growing fainter and fainter. This proved my suspicion. Once Dunyarzad could no longer bear the Akasha harvesting her dreams, her consciousness began to dissipate. But this also meant it escaped the Akasha's control. Such a small fragment of consciousness can't last for very long, though. Where both will gradually fade until they completely... I used all the power I had to keep her dying dream alive as long as possible. But it still wouldn't have lasted for much longer if it hadn't been for you two breaking this So it looks like we did manage to save Dunyarzad in the end. Not a moment too soon. Huh? Why are you two smiling so happily? I thought you'd be so moved that you'd start crying. Both are fine. Everyone reacts differently. All right. You two must have a lot of other questions for me, right? After all, at the Avidia Forest, there was this incense that made the traveler fall unconscious and dream of a huge tree. You also heard someone's voice, right? It said world. Yeah, so you do know. We've been wanting to ask you what that was about. It seems like the traveler established a connection to Irminsul. That was a message left by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's residual consciousness in Irminsul. As you two probably know, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata disappeared after the disaster in Khaenri'ah. The timings of these events do line up, so your suspicion... A message from Greater Lord Rukkhadevata? We thought it was the Scarlet King? That god who died even longer ago? Some present-day desert dwellers still worship him. Okay, so what does the message mean? I still haven't managed to decipher it. Even the Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's residual consciousness in Irminsul seems to be contaminated with something that has a very dangerous aura to it. Many devoted scholars go mad as soon as they connect their consciousness. I've warned the academia about this many times, but people still keep falling. But I believe this is the key to saving Irminsul. That's why I've kept trying to decipher it. So the tree in the vision was Irminsul? Oh, Tighnari also said that Irminsul is sick! But even if you can't figure out what that vision was all about, the traveler wasn't affected after coming in contact with that consciousness. I've never seen anyone like that. With you here? No, we must decipher its secrets. I've already eliminated all other factors that might affect Irminsul. This puzzle has life and death at stake. It could determine Irminsul's fate. To be accurate, I'm using the Akasha as a medium to occupy Catherine's consciousness. How did you do that? Poor Catherine. Theoretically, I can enter anyone's mind as long as they're wearing their... The Akasha is the legacy of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. As Lesser Lord Kusanali and the first Akasha Terminal, my consciousness is I've always respected my people's free will, so I've never actually occupied their consciousness. When necessary, I just borrow this hold on. Did we just learn some deep, dark secret? So Catherine is... No wonder, Paimon. What about your own body? Why do you need to borrow other people's? Don't you live in the sanctuary? That story begins a long time ago. After Greater Lord Rukkhadevata disappeared, the sages found my newly born self and took me back to Sumeru. At that time, I was young and weak. The sages kept me in the sanctuary of Surasthana, ostensibly for the sake of protecting me. But, however, I do understand that they had hoped to find Greater Lord Rukkhadevata instead of me, a symbol of her passing. So, the sages basically put their new Archon under house arrest? How dare they! In some ways, they aren't wrong. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was omniscient and omnipotent, even after her death, and I'm still really far away from being able to call myself the God of Wisdom. Moreover, the academia is also more Yeah, you got a lot of believers. Just look at the Sabzeruz. Thank you for the kind words. But I honestly don't need physical freedom as long as I can connect my... Trying to find a way to save Irminsul is my life's mission and top priority. I will work on that, and try to live up to being a deity in the meantime. Every once in a while, I will also take up the duties of the God of Wisdom. There has never been any big problems with the Academia's governance of Sumeru. This is the first time I've seen... I wonder what caused them to go down this path, and what they hope to... Even though the city's residents haven't noticed anything strange, if the traveler hadn't broken the Sabzeruz samsara, the situation could have been... I tried to do some investigating in the Akasha, but I couldn't find anything suspicious. And all the people of interest seem to purposely avoid wearing their Akasha terminals. I think they're deliberately trying... Oh, that reminds Paimon. In Gandharvaville, there was a sage who had invited Tighnari to join some kind... Regardless, I need to first investigate the sage's motives, make things right, and punish them if needed. But I'll have to be discreet, or they'll see me coming. You mean how the Akasha stops you from... Yeah! It's been such a long time! No, it's not that no one noticed. It's more like no one cared. Ultimately, it's all rooted in the sage's misdirection. Misdirection? The sages convinced everyone to believe that being unable to dream is a sign of rationality and wisdom. Not dreaming is a badge of honor in Sumeru, even if the truth is that their dreams are being reaped. But with their propaganda in place, the sages can maximize their use of the Akasha to facilitate their reap. Besides, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata must have created the Akasha in the hopes that it could be used to its full potential. Anyway, The perspective advocate by now. Even those who never use Akasha terminals find it to got it. I hope my answers were satisfactory, Seekers. To be honest, maintaining Dunyarzad's fading dream took a lot of mental energy. Oh, and you don't need to worry too much about the Sage's activities for now. The Akasha won't be able to conduct another project on the scale of the Sabzeruz Samsara. Go and get some sleep. Leave everything to us. What a relief. This is truly the most...
Traveler? Paimon? Why am I here?
Maybe you were sleepwalking. You know you can't wake up a sleepwalker.
I see. Huh. I should visit my maintenance person.